Funding for this series has been provided in part by the following.
Sundragon supports the art of music.
Art is what sustains us through all of our history. It is what documents who we are at any given moment.
I'm very glad that the places that exist like this exist, because you can go see something that a human has done.
For me, art is the great hope. Can we rock the Met?
Can we please? This is something that I've been really looking forward to. I love Sheryl. I think that we've become very good friends.
Yeah, we have.
And I consider...
I'm going to say besties.
Besties, BFF. And I've said this before, but in Nashville as a songwriter, as a musician, it's not always easy to find someone to aspire to. And I feel like I would like to be Sheryl Crow when I grow up. Not too far up, but...
Oh my gosh, I feel the same about you.
Good, thank you.
We were just making out backstage.
We were. So your songs, you connected with people all over the world, and got to a level there where, like a lot of your songs are just part of my DNA, because I grew up listening to these songs intentionally and accidentally because they were everywhere. And I wonder, you being a songwriter for all these years and to such success, is there a method that you follow? If you knew right now that you needed to write a song, what would you do first?
Well, I think now for me, being my age, which is glorious and liberating, I write when I want. I write when I feel led. And the body of work we're actually getting ready to put out has really been my trying to figure things out. I know you can relate to that. But for me, as a kid, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in a town that was in the middle of nowhere. I think we had 3 or 4 stoplights. Music for me was my way out. We played music on the Magnavox. I studied the album artwork, and I knew who played on everything. And I envisioned myself doing what James Taylor was doing and what Carole King was doing. Then as you get older, you learn how to craft a song, if that's what you feel like your life's work is. And I think a lot of people can learn crafting, and I know that you can relate to this. There are those oddball songs that come along that you cannot figure out where they came from. You couldn't have dreamed writing it because it's so not what you do. And that's where I look and go, well, that's what inspiration is. There's no way to really define what that is. For me, that is my closest definition of what spirit is when the ego is out of the way and the spirit kicks in, or soul or whatever, and you're kind of given a song. And that doesn't happen very often. But for me, I sit down with a bass and I sing, and I have something I'm concerned with or I'm thinking about, and it just comes out as a song.
And that's super interesting to me, because I feel like most people write with a guitar or a piano, but very often, like, you sit down and you write with a bass, and there's something about your chord changes where they sound like, and this is kind of nerdy, but it sounds like you're making a bigger...
I always love nerds.
It sounds like you're making a bigger jump than you are.
Okay, yeah,
like
that
a
makes
chord
sense.
will a bridge will go from a B minor to a B flat major,
Yeah.
and then you've got that tone pedaling on the D note.
Yeah.
That's something on a guitar you would complicate it more naturally.
And everybody in this room has grown up listening to certain songs, right? So for me, I grew up listening to a lot of Burt Bacharach because that's what my parents listened to. I listened to a lot of the Beatles. Later on, when I was becoming like a cool teenager, I got into the Rolling Stones and I did some Joni Mitchell and Fleetwood Mac. A lot of what I wanted to do was so melody driven, but if I could sit down with a guitar or at the piano, which is my main instrument, I would get into my head with, well, this chord goes well with that, and this goes, major, minor, like the Beatles. And then you forget you're writing the melody, which for me, the melody is the journey. You write the screenplay, which are the words, and the melody is the cinematography. And if I'm figuring out what chords I know on the piano and what I'm comfortable playing, then it becomes about the chords and less about the melody. And so at a certain point, I kind of gave up doing the same thing over and over, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to write. And write based on the melody as opposed to all the cool chords I know and what sounds best coming out of that one.
Yeah, I love it.
I know that sounds very analytical, but...
No, but it is. Like, after you do it that many times, you start analyzing it just by nature. But I don't know, there's something about your songs, they sound more complicated than they are. And I love that. That's a Beatle trick.
I'm extremely cerebral.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you moonwalk. You can't lie to me.
I can moonwalk, baby.
Sheryl can moonwalk better than anybody alive. Okay, well, you want to play one? You want to play Every Day is a Winding Road?
Let's do.
You want to do it? All right.
I will tell you, so you write songs and then for whatever reason, you think that song is okay. You feel like you could have done better. That was this song. I was like, I don't know if it's good enough. But there was a line in the song that the engineer and the guy who mixed it, Chad Blake, said, you have to put this on the record because the line, I feel like a stranger in my own life. He's like, that for me is what is so humanizing. And so I said, okay, I'll put it on the record. 30 years later, COVID happens, and I'm playing to a computer, and I'm literally like, every time I say, I feel like a stranger in my own life, I'm just like, it could not be more true 30 years later.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty, man, of songs, is that they take you on a journey, they remind you of a time, but they also bring you places.
Yeah.
So.
He said he'd been down this road more than twice. He was high on intellectualism. I've never been there, but the brochure looks nice. Jump in, let's go. Lay back, enjoy the show. Everybody gets high, everybody gets low. These are the days when anything goes. Every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer. Every day is a fade sign. I get a little bit closer to feeling fine. He's got a daughter he calls Easter. She was born on a Tuesday night. I'm just wondering why I feel so all alone. Why I'm a stranger in my own life. Jump in, let's go. Lay back, enjoy the show. Everybody gets high, everybody gets low. These are the days when anything goes. Every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer. Every day is a fader sign. Oh yeah, I get a little bit closer. Every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer. closer to feeling fine. Here we go. I've been living on a sea of anarchy. I've been living on coffee and nicotine. I've been wondering if all the things I've seen were ever real, ever really happening, ever really happening. Every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer. Every day is a fading sign, yeah. I get a little bit closer. Every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer. Every day is a fading sign. I get a little bit closer to feeling fine. Feeling fine. Feeling fine. Feeling fine. Here we go.
That was good.
That was good.
So we touched on this a little bit, but things change over time, and obviously your motivations for writing. But one thing that is really interesting to me is how, with the exception of Dylan, all of the rest of us basically start by focusing on our internal lives, and then if you have some luck at learning about yourself and you grow as a person, for the most part, your internal life starts to get a little bit boring as a songwriter after a couple decades of writing songs.
Once you start making money,
Yeah, I didn't want to say that.
then
but
it's
yeah.
like,
What do I
I'm going to
complain
write about how I really don't like this hotel room that's like 5-star. Yeah.
And one thing that I love about you as a songwriter and as a person, because these are intertwined, you can't really pull those apart, is the fact that you seem to be constantly looking for a fight. And I love that about you. And I don't mean looking
And
for...
this is why I am not married.
I have no comment on that part. But you seem like you're always looking for who doesn't have a voice. Who can I help? Who can I speak for right now? And I think that's the most beautiful thing an artist can do. Where does that come from? Like initially, what's that spark that makes you think, I need to use the voice that I have to speak for people that don't?
Yeah, I think because I grew up with a conservative dad and a liberal mom, that the conversations that took place over our dinner table after Walter Cronkite. Now, I grew up when there was only the 6 o'clock news or the 11 o'clock news, which I never saw. How we were supposed to feel wasn't debated by lots of pundits. I mean, those conversations happened over the dinner table or in the house with friends. And I heard some very deliberate, heated, but also thoughtful exchanges between my parents about what kind of world they wanted to see their kids inherit. And when I turned 18, of course, and Ronald Reagan was running for office, they both secretly pulled me aside to see who I would be voting for, knowing that they were canceling each other's votes out. I think I grew up also with parents who, my dad was a very Atticus Finch type attorney, and he took on hard cases that were civil rights oriented. I also grew up during the civil rights. I was 10 years old in 1972, and my high school was going through all kinds of social unrest. So I remember those days. But what was more important to me than even that was that what was at radio these pop songs that were top of the charts, from Marvin Gaye to Edwin Starr singing War to Buffalo Springfield. Those were songs that were popular songs on the radio. And we got away from that. You know, now I find, as a mom that has 2 teenage boys, I think that almost every song sounds like they're talking about sex. So I'm like the great police of what my kids listen to, which is the very thing you don't want to be. But I just found that music, when I was growing up and when I was a songwriter coming up, that I gravitated to songs that had changed me, and that's what I wanted to do. But you know, I'm a person that learns from on the other side. You know, it was like I wasn't thinking about it when I wrote it. I wasn't thinking on my first record about writing about sexual harassment. I wasn't thinking about, oops, I named that person on the record, you know, until it comes and bites you in the ass. But I think that's what artists do. I mean, isn't that what artists do?
And for every time it bites you in the ass, it picks somebody else up off the ground.
You hope it does, but I'm even more selfish than that. Like, I'm not thinking about anything other than what's happening right in my, mostly in my, like, you know, where your emotions hang in your throat. There's that giant tear that I can't, unless I can get it out, it lives there. And then later on, you put it out and you realize, wow, this was not just me feeling this giant tear. There's a giant population of people who are worried about the same things I'm worried about. So, and that's the glory of the job that we get to do.
Any kind of good art, good music, good poems, good stories, good paintings, they all remind us, oh, there's this one little weird thing about me that she wasn't supposed to know, but she knew it.
And how did she know
How
that?
does she know this secret? Maybe it's not a secret. Maybe I'm not alone.
Yeah. I remember hearing Fire and Rain, and I literally was sure that James Taylor had written that for me, and I was 11. And that's the beauty of songwriting. I will say one thing about having gotten to know Johnny Cash a little bit. I made a trip to Bosnia in 1996, and I went and played for the troops, which is a glorious experience. I mean, the young faces you see that are fighting for the rights that we have to be ugly to each other just is crazy. These young people who are really literally fighting for the thing this country was based on. And then you come home and you're like, what are we doing? But I came home from that trip in Bosnia, and what was on TV was Rwanda, which there was a genocide going on there. And we weren't doing anything. We weren't there at all.
We did nothing, no.
No, and I kept thinking, why are we in one place and these people are like dying and we're not doing anything? And so I had just broken up with my boyfriend and was getting ready to write intentionally the greatest love song you'd ever heard in your life. But instead, I couldn't write it.
Yeah.
And I sat down and wrote this song, Redemption Day, that had 7 or 8 stanzas, which I don't write like that.
No, yeah.
That's Dylan.
That's Dylan,
That's
totally.
Bob Dylan, yeah.
Can we do it? Can we play that song?
Yes.
I think it's a love song. I think they're all love songs.
It is kind of a love song. I mean, it's my philosophy that we all wind up going to the same place, and that's into the dirt. And the train's going to take all of us there, you know, and wherever you believe you go afterwards. I mean, I personally think our spirits go on. We're all going to the same place. And it's right now that matters. And what we do and we model to our kids is what really matters the most. It's all about intention. I will tell you a quick story about it. I recorded it in 1996. Johnny Cash, many years later, called me and asked me if I would sing at his wife's funeral. And it was devastating and beautiful. And then shortly after that, he called me and said, I'm not done. I have more in me, and I've heard this song that you recorded, and I want to record it. And the thing that made him beautiful and great was that he needed to know what every line meant in the song in order for him to put his voice behind it. So he asked me all these things, he recorded it, and then he passed away about 2 months later. So.
I wait for those who suffer long, but how I weep for those who've gone. In the rooms of grief and question wrong, but keep on killing. It's in the soul to feel such things, but we to watch without speaking. Oh, what mercy sadness brings, if God be willing. There is a train that's heading straight to heaven's gate, heaven's gate. And on the way, child and man and woman wait, watch and wait for redemption day. The fire rages in the street and swallows everything it meets. That's just an image often seen on television. Come leaders, come you men of great, let us hear you pontificate. Your many virtues laid to waste, but we aren't listening. What do you have for us today? Throw us a bone, you men of grace, on why you waited till so late. Was there no oil to excavate, no riches in trade for the fate of every person who died in hate? Throw us a bone, you men of great. There is a train that's headed straight to heaven's gate, heaven's gate. And on the way, child and man and woman wait, watch and wait for redemption day. It's buried in the countryside, exploding in the shells of night. It's everywhere a baby cries. Freedom, 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 freedom.
That was fun. I love that song so much. It's hard to stay private and still be honest. It's really hard for me. I'm still figuring out where the line is.
You piss a lot of people off.
You do piss a lot of people off, and then you wind up pissing yourself off. And people make documentaries and people ask you questions, and you're like, I'm going to tell the truth all the time because that's the best bet.
Yeah.
And you're like, I should not have said any of that. I feel like you're always telling me the truth with the music that you're making, but I also feel like there's a part of you that's not for everybody. And everybody doesn't get to have that part of you, and you've kept that intact for this whole time.
Well, I mean, I get a lot of shut up and sing, and I think that's the nature now. But I also, I mean, I've had long bouts where I didn't go out of my house. I've had long bouts where I was very just, I've been very open about my mental challenges, which I'm glad we're talking about those things now. I also had a life before I made it. You know, I was a school teacher. I waited tables. I was a backup singer. I traveled all over the world. I turned 30 when my first record came out. I was a fully formed person. So when fame hit me, it was such a bombast, such a shellacking that I didn't know what to do with it. And what happens is everybody loves you until the second they don't love you, and then they really don't love you anymore. And I buried myself in music and writing, but I measured myself by it. I measured myself by not just about by my productivity, but about how well my music was received, and that's a dangerous spot to be, because then you stop writing your heart and you start writing your calculations. And now that I'm where I'm at in my life, I've gone through cancer, I've adopted 2 beautiful, amazing boys, I'm watching the world living with technology that I did not grow up with, and I'm scared. I'm terrified, and I find the only place that I can go where I can write my truth, it's not on social media, because people don't want to hear you if you don't agree with them. For me, it is songwriting. The AI thing has been so jarring to me, and to try to explain to my kids, how do you explain what truth is when truth is, it is a thing that exists. I can't even explain it anymore. To me, growing up, the truth was the truth, but now the truth is
subjective in a way.
Subjective. It is based on an algorithm that is fully interjected into your life based on what you already think.
That's one thing that struck me here at the Met, walking around today and touring, the art and then the guitars that they have here. I'm very glad that the places that exist like this exist and seem to be foundational to our society, because you can go see something that a human has done. And, that's not going to be as easy to get to and to put your eyes on in the future.
And it really is, it is the thing that catalogs our evolution all the way back to hieroglyphics. I got to play the oldest piano that was ever made today. And it is humbling. All of these instruments will be here well after we're gone. And I want people to live their lives that way, knowing that every little kind of juju you leave on somebody or on your instrument does live on. I have guitars. I have a guitar that I've owned since my first paycheck, 1964 Country and Western. I call it the money maker because anything I ever made any money on, I wrote on that guitar. And
you got that with your first paycheck?
I got that with my first paycheck.
Genius.
So this whole body of work came from my being flummoxed by what are we going to do with this technological advancement called AI, when really art and soul and spirit, that's the thing that AI can't capture, is empathy or compassion or, but we also have to find that in ourselves at some point.
Right. We got to dig it up.
Yeah.
You have a song that deals with
I have a
this.
song actually called Evolution, and I said I'd never make another record.
Did you lie? I hope you lied.
I lied
She
like
lied.
a freaking dog. No.
You lied to me. You
I
told
lied.
me.
I did. Well, I didn't know. I call this a playlist
Okay.
that's all coming out on the same day with artwork.
Yeah. It's a mixtape.
It's an old-fashioned mixtape.
You're dropping
but
a
there's songs
mixtape.
that no one's ever heard.
You're going to hand it out in Soho when people walk by.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to buy the T-shirt for it, of course. It does have 1,000 chords.
Okay.
Turned on the radio and there it was, a song that sounded like something I wrote. The voice and melody were hauntingly so familiar that I thought it was a joke. Is it beyond intelligence, as if the soul need not exist? sun came up, and I watched him as he opened up his eyes. What will I tell him when he's old enough to want the answers to all the questions why? Yes, we are brilliant, we are kind. Sometimes we lose our mind. Evolution, ever changing, lost in space and time. Maybe there's a grand solution somewhere we will find. Deep in the heart of humankind, we can create, we can destroy. We can feel pain, we can feel joy. We can plant seeds and watch them grow. We can feel love 'cause it's written in the human Where are we headed in this paradise? We are passengers and there's no one at the wheel. No matter how well you can outdo me, there is one thing you will never do, and it's feel. Evolution, ever changing, lost in space and time. Maybe there's a grand solution somewhere we will find. Evolution, ever changing, lost in space and time. Maybe there's a grand solution somewhere we will find. Thank you. It's always hard to play new songs.
What are some guitars that you once had that you don't have anymore, that you regret losing or getting rid of? Or
I have to be honest. I'm just shy of being a hoarder. I have aisles. That's the reason I'm not a hoarder. I've not gotten rid of very many guitars. I've bought guitars with love and like. I have felt like for me and my kids, it drives my kids crazy. I buy things because I feel like they have a history about them. So the guitars I've bought, I've felt like when they have laid against somebody's chest and they have been played with love or angst or anger or joy or whatever has gone into it, that it's in the body of it. I have a 1959 Telecaster that has been my go-to guitar. Wrote If It Makes You Happy with Jeff Trott on that guitar. That guitar actually was one that was given to me by somebody who showed up at a gig, and I had the reissue of it, and this guy came up to me at Austin, the backyard, and said, I want you to have this guitar. It is the real version of the reissue you're playing. It was my grandmother's. And it's been under her bed, and she hasn't played it in years and years, and she'd passed away of breast cancer. And he gave me that guitar. So there are, it's a little bit like children. Like your children choose you. You don't get the wrong kids, you know.
Yeah.
And that guitar found its way to me. And I recently realized that I was diagnosed with breast cancer exactly 22 years after, on to the day of getting that guitar from a woman who died of breast cancer. And that guitar has brought me, I mean, it bought my house.
Yeah, that's
you
the
know?
one.
Yeah,
that's the one. Is that your favorite guitar you've ever had?
That one and the country and western are. And then I've got a bunch of basses, and but I gravitate back to, my old M85. I know that doesn't mean anything to y'all, but
It does. They all know exactly what kind of
Y'all
bass
know
that
this, right?
is. I love it when you play the bass. Can we do one where you play the bass?
yeah. Do you want to do my favorite mistake?
Can we do that?
Yeah.
This is like my favorite. Was this Wendy that played this guitar part?
Yeah, Wendy and Lisa played with Prince.
With
So Wendy
Prince.
Melvoin played the guitar on this.
The coolest part.
She's
All
funky,
right.
man. 1, 2, ready.
I woke up and called this morning. The tone of your voice was a warning. You don't care for me anymore. I made of the bed we sleep in. Looked at the clock when you're creeping. It's 6 a.m. and I'm home. Did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day I'd gotten used to spending? When you go, all I know is you're my favorite mistake. My friends are sorry for me. They watch you pretend to adore me. Oh, but I'm no fool to the scare. And here comes a secret lover. She'll be unlike any other until your guilt goes up in flames. Did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day I'd gotten used to spending? When you go, all I know is you're my favorite mistake. You're my favorite mistake. Maybe nothing lasts forever, even when you stay together. I don't need forever after. It's your laughter won't let me go, so I'm holding on this way. Did you know, could you tell, you were the only one that I ever loved? Everything so. Did you see me walking by? Did it ever make you cry? You're my favorite mistake. You're my favorite mistake. You're my favorite mistake.
What a song. What a song. What a song.
There's a lot of this.
Yeah, playing the bass and singing at the same time is not easy, is it? I can't do it.
I do love it though.
I love it when you do it. And that song is deceptive because this chorus is so happy and such a major key song.
I know, it's one of those. I'm going to go kill myself right after I eat this banana cream pie.
Like I used to think, wait a minute. And I heard the verses real close and I was like, uh-oh, somebody's not being nice at all.
Who is she writing it about?
Yeah, right?
Mick
I'm not going to
Jagger.
ask you that. I would never.
I've been asked it.
Yeah, you've answered
He's
that.
not in this room. Or is he?
He might be. I don't know. If he's in one of those suits of armor in there. Anyway, so we need to talk about where we are and what we're doing while we're at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And somewhere like this, how does this make you feel as a creative person? Because it really, I don't know if I don't like to say inspires. It inspires for me to see somebody else working, but to see the finished product, it motivates for me. I see it and I think, oh, this person got there, so I can at least get to where I need to get.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel to be surrounded by this kind of work?
I come to a place like this, and it shows me how old we are. It shows me that people gave their hearts, their soul, their time, and their desire, and also their need to document who they were at any given moment in our evolution. For me, art is the great hope. It is the great hope that will sustain us through all kinds of intellectual property fighting with AI. Art, as it lives and breathes, where it comes from an artist, is what sustains us through all of our history. It is what documents who we are at any given moment. And that's what gives me hope. So when I'm in a place like this, I know my days are numbered, but my art will live on, and your art will live on, and whatever you leave behind you, if it is art, if it's a painting, if it's a book, if it's a poem, whatever it is, it touches and it changes the molecules, and it resonates, it vibrates at a higher level. And that's why we all react. That's why we all feel something. I don't know anything else that does that.
Well, let me ask you, I have to ask you this. You are a woman.
I am.
And you're in the music business.
Yes.
And this is, from what I can gather, sometimes a difficult situation to be in. And I
Yes.
imagine that as you've probably seen a lot and had to deal with a whole lot, and still somehow you managed to stay on the right side of the point of diminishing returns as a woman in the music business. How do you keep that? How do you keep your eyes on the prize and think, I know it's not fair. It's not going to be fair probably in my lifetime, but I still have to keep being me and doing my job.
You have to have hope. You can't give in to every bad thing that's happened to you. I'm a huge fan and believer in the power of meditation. I do mindfulness meditation. That helps me to let go of a lot of stuff. I'm human. I definitely have ruminated over a lot of my history, but at a certain point, in order to live a happy and joyful life, you let go of what has made you the way you are, and you celebrate that. You embrace that, and you say, I would not be the person that I am had I not gone through that terrible experience. And those terrible experiences become a part of the fabric of who you become. And for me, there's glory in that. There's wisdom in that, and there's great release in that. And being a mom now, I'm an older mom, and I'm learning how to be alive and be aware and see things for the first time with different eyes, and how to embrace an innocence that you can really lose it fast when you become cynical. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
I think it's helped you to pave a way and hold a door open for a lot of people. And I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
I also think, I'm sure you guys are like this. We're all kind of frogs in pots in our scenarios.
When is the water too hot? When
We
do you
don't
jump?
even know that the water's starting to boil because we have no reference to what it's like to not be going through what we're going through at any given moment. So for me, I've been I had very great parents who raised me with a good, solid Puritan work ethic and it's just as easy to be nice to people as it is to be an asshole to people and that kind of thing. And that's kind of my mode of operandi, you know.
I have played guitar and sang on Strong Enough for many different women in my life. I've never done it with you. Can we do it?
Okay, I think it takes a real man to sing Strong Enough to be my man.
Really? You think so? Well, maybe that's what I am. I don't know. I just think it's a great song.
I'll tell you guys, I've been engaged 3 times. I've never gotten married, so I still have all my money. I also like to say I have loved some wonderful men, and I've loved some other people too.
Gotta feel like hell tonight, and tears of rage I cannot fight. I'll be the last to help you understand. Are you strong enough to be my man? My man. Nothing's true and nothing's right, so let me be alone tonight. 'Cause you can't change the way I am. Are you strong enough to be my man? Lie to me, I promise I believe. Lie to me, but please don't leave. Don't leave. I have a face I cannot show. I make the rules up as I go. It's trying to me if you can. Are you strong enough to be my man? Oh, my man. Are you strong enough to be my man? Are you strong enough to be my man? Are you strong enough to be my man? Are you strong enough, my man? When I've shown you that I just don't care. When I'm throwing bunches in the air. When I'm broken down and I can't stand. Would you be man enough to be my man? Lie to me, I promise I believe. Lie to me, but please don't leave.
If you're gonna give some guidance to some singers and songwriters nowadays, I know it's a strange world to get. I mean, I feel like, I kind of got grandfathered in at the tail end of people
Yeah.
buying albums and T-shirts and tickets and all these things. And I feel very fortunate. But what do you tell them? Other than just write 1,000 songs until you know what you like and then keep going. What do you tell them?
It's a weird thing. I don't know what to say anymore. I mean, I was around when people bought records. I was the last generation of people that bought records. Knowing how many people bought your records mattered because it made you feel people's love and commitment to your artistry, right? Now, with the attention span being only 6 seconds, we don't get paid unless somebody listens to one of our songs for longer than 30 seconds. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I just tell kids that if you want to be famous, there's 1,000 ways to do it. If you want to be a great artist, if you want to be around for a long time, it takes a lot of hard work. It takes hearing no a lot, and it takes manifesting. I mean, really seeing yourself doing this for the long haul and not veering away from that. And if it means waiting tables in the meantime, I mean, you'll do a lot of things to get to do what you love. And I believe in the power of manifestation. I'm not the greatest singer, I'm not the greatest player, and I'm not the greatest songwriter. I know a lot of people that should have made it, but I stuck with it. And I do believe that wherever you put your energy, it does come back to you. And so that's what I tell young kids. If you want to be famous, get on TikTok. If you want to be a great songwriter, then get to work.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheryl. This has been so wonderful. Sheryl
Thanks
Crow,
for having
everybody.
me.
Sheryl Crow.
You guys, thank you for coming. This is so great. And what a gorgeous surroundings to play in. And so amazing.
Can we do one more? Can we do If It Makes You Happy?
Can we rock the Met?
Can we please?
Can we rock the Met, you guys?
I've been long, long away from here. I put on a poncho, played for mosquitoes, drank till I was thirsty again. I went searching through thrift store jungles. Found Geronimo's rifle, Maryland shampoo, Benny Goodman's corset and pen. Well, okay, I made this up. I promised you I'd never give up. If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. If it makes you why the hell are you so sad? You get down, real low down. You listen to Coltrane, derail your own train. Who hasn't been there before? I come around a hard way. I bring you comics in bed, scrape the mold off the bread, and serve you French toast again. Well, okay, I made this up. I'm not the kind of girl you take home that makes you happy. Can't be that bad. If it makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad? If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. If it makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad? We've been far, far away from here. We put on a poncho, played for mosquitoes, and everywhere in between. Well, okay, we get along. So what if right now everything's wrong. That makes you happy, it can't be that bad. That makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad? If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. If it makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad?
Sheryl Crow, Sheryl
Jason
Crow.
Isbell! Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheryl.
Thank y'all.
I woke up and called this morning. The tone of your voice was a warning. You don't care for me anymore. Did you see me walking by? Did it ever make you cry? You're my favorite mistake. You're my favorite mistake.
Funding for this series has been provided in part by the following.
Sundragon supports the art of music.